So I make this video not because it's easy by any stretch of the imagination, but I make this video because I unfortunately think we're living in a society where narcissism is on the rise. I also think we live in a society that has become increasingly unempathetic, and you could see it in the workforce, you could see it with people around you, and I consider myself to be a lucky one in the sense that I've been fortunate to have a lot of empathetic or considerate people in my life. And even with that being said, I've still seen this noticeable increase in, like, again, lack of empathy, uh somebody being self-consumed with themselves. And I say that largely because I was one of these individuals myself. It was in 2024 when I realized I had narcissism. And although I never got an official diagnosis, I had a situation pop up for me where I realized I had a lot of these problems. And before I get into it, I kind of have to give you guys a little bit of context. So for most of my childhood and adolescence, I was bullied. I was ostracized by a lot of people in middle school and high school. I simply didn't get along with people. And my confidence was so bad that I remember I would look at the floor and my parents would literally tell me, you should look up. Like, why aren't you looking up when you're walking outside? And that was just how much my confidence was shattered. I literally stuttered every single word I'd say when talking to people, and it just led to a very miserable existence throughout middle school and high school. And really by the end of high school, the pain was so great that I was like, I'm gonna do anything it takes to get out of it. Like, I don't care. I cannot go to college and live this life. So I started working out. I started learning how to dress better. I started learning how to talk to people. Literally watch psychology videos every single day. And, in college, I actually did change my life. I was very fortunate to break out of that cycle that a lot of people don't break out of because I just was so determined. It was literally like a do or die situation. If I didn't do this, I might as well have been dead, right? And throughout college, I had the complete opposite life. I had a social life, I had a lot of fame in my university, and I was just invited to a lot of things. And like with any 18-year-old, it gets to your head. And of course, in that age, you're not really self-aware. You don't really think about yourself, or you're not able to register the impact you could have on other people. I remember throughout those years, I was so obsessed with my Instagram. I would ask my friends to like and comment every single thing. And I just couldn't really be by myself, in all honesty. So from like the ages of 18 to 23, I constantly needed to hang out with people. I was invited to events. I would hang out with people who, even if I felt they weren't aligned with me, I would still do it. And I was just a very self-obsessed person. I remember even when I first started YouTube, I would have my friends come into the vlog and I would literally tell them, yo, the moment the video drops, like and comment. So it goes to say that while I wasn't an evil person necessarily, I was very self absorbed. And whenever I was hurt or in pain, I constantly thought about how the other person was the villain. I never stopped and thought, how did I contribute to the situation? And the analogy I like to give is that when you are suffering from narcissism, it's like being in a filthy room for so long that you don't know what clean is anymore. So the clean room is like a normal, healthy baseline. A filthy room is like suffering from narcissism. And when you're in that filthy room for so long, you can't even really tell what reality is anymore, right? And it's like being in a haze that you don't even know exists in the first place. So a few years after college, or actually, let me go back to college, I lost a lot of friendships because of this, right? Like, I couldn't handle conflict well. Whenever I got constructive feedback or constructive criticism, I just couldn't sit with it. I took it as an attack to self, and I would constantly deflect and spiral. And the reason why is because narcissism is essentially a shame wound. When you are ashamed of your authentic self, you don't even have empathy for others because you don't even show empathy towards yourself in the first place. And when you don't show empathy to yourself, you're not kind to yourself, and by extension, you're not kind to others. I was also a people pleaser, and that was a combination for disaster. I, again, could not handle conflicts with close friends around me, and I lost a lot of great bonds because of that. And this kept persistent even after college for about a year or two until I simultaneously had both a breakup and a bankruptcy situation implode in my face. This was simultaneous, and alhamdulillah, this was enough of a disaster to really get me to look inwards because at that point, I knew there was a problem. Like, even my brain, as much of an ego as it had, could not rationalize how I got into that situation at 23. So that was the beginning of planting some seeds, of really looking at, okay, I have messed my life so bad that I have to admit my brain is the problem, right? And the thing about narcissism is that most narcissists won't realize they are narcissists. And I fell in this camp for years. It wasn't until, on top of that situation, one day I saw a family member repeat a dysfunctional behavior that I also did, was when I realized, yo, I might have a problem. Because for years, I thought this family member was also very narcissistic. I also thought they were so self absorbed and literally could not see anything outside of themselves. But when I saw them repeat the same coping mechanism that I used to deal with my problems, I was like, whoa, bro, like, I need to research what narcissism is. I need to see if I have these symptoms, right? And that behavior that I was talking about was that whenever I felt like miserable about myself, whenever I felt insecure or vulnerable or ashamed about myself, I went on dating apps to talk to women because I literally wanted to feel better about my masculinity. Like, no shame. And by the way, I deleted dating apps over 2 years ago, shortly after that moment. But yeah, that was my coping mechanism. Whenever I felt like I needed to prove myself, I did it through dating apps. I did it through receiving external validation from people who I hardly knew. And what happened was, when I went on this journey of self reflection, I realized I had a lot of traits of vulnerable narcissism, because there's different types of narcissism. There's grandiose, I think there's malignant narcissism, I could be wrong about that. And there's vulnerable narcissism. And I fell for vulnerable narcissism. It's a type of narcissism where, you kind of use your problems and your story as a scapegoat for your sadness. Rather than being grandiose, you are just somebody who thinks the whole world is against you. You pity yourself, and you're so self-absorbed in your own problems that you can't really see what other people are going through, and you don't even really register what they're going through either. And when I actually looked at the list of symptoms for the first time, I think that was when the self-awareness finally came that I could very well have this, right? And what happened was, through a mix of like deep internal work of like trying to relearn what emotions are, what interpretations are, what paradigms are, and leveraging psychedelics too, because psychedelics allowed me to connect with emotions that I didn't even know existed in my nervous system. I, alhamdulillah, I was able to break out of that shame spiral, because it's one thing to understand you're afflicted, it's another thing to feel and experience and let that shame run its course through your body, because again, that shame is what keeps a narcissistic person stuck. Because the more shame you have, the more you can't connect with your authentic self. And I realized in hindsight, for all those years, I was so ashamed of who I was in my childhood and adolescence that narcissism developed as a result. And I think it's important to talk about this because in society, there is such a negative narrative about narcissists, right? They are labeled as monsters, as evil, as wicked. And I upheld this narrative too for a number of years against this family member, right? I also did the same thing. But what I realized in hindsight was part of the reason I didn't break out of it for as long as I did was because I also did not come from a very supportive community. And not even community, communities. Like, literally, people, again, lack of empathy, lack of support. And it goes to show that, I mean, of course, different people are different people. Like, there are some narcissists or people who suffer from narcissism who are never going to change and are harmful, right? But there are some people who really want to change for the better and they just don't know they have a problem. And then I'd like to think I fell under the latter group, right? And I go to share this story because I truly think change is possible. Even as a practicing Muslim, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Taha that whoever changes and rectifies their way can indeed find mercy and rahmah min Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And rahmah means mercy, rahmah means forgiveness, rahmah means embracing the person despite all their flaws and despite all their shortcomings. And I think as a society, we truly need to have this attitude more, because sometimes I think our black and white thinking exacerbates the same problem that we are trying to eliminate in the first place. I'm not sure what else I have to say outside of what I just did, but yeah, I am grateful that I was able to break out of the shame. And I think it's a goal of mine to help more people, because we need to have self awareness, right? The first step in solving a problem is recognizing there is one. And I think it is my dream that we build more resources and we build more ways of being where we can support each other, even when we have personality disorders, even when we have mental disorders that shouldn't be broken out of. It's really my dream that we can help each other and uplift each other to become better versions of ourselves. But as the old saying goes, don't seek to change the world, seek to change yourself first. If you enjoyed this video, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.